What is unfolding right now at the MADLANGA Commission feels like a high-budget movie script, but this is real life. I genuinely fail to understand how the very institutions built and funded to fight corruption have ended up being more corrupt than the actual criminals they are supposed to lock up. But look, let's give credit where it is strictly due. General Mkhwanazi did a marvelous job standing up, and now MADLANGA has completely blown the lid off this whole operation. What you are about to watch today exposes the absolute highest level of incompetence and rot inside the system. Hit that like button right now, don't skip a single second, and let's jump straight into it. Watch this carefully.
And one other thing I want to quickly touch on is if we go to file 11, I know you don't have it, so I'm going to ask you to look at your screens, and you will recall that these are notes from Ms. Ramsamy, where she was telling us about one of the contents of a meeting which happened on the same meeting on the 22nd of January. And in that meeting, one of the things that was discussed was essentially a plan to catch by a plan, and this was something that Advocate Johnson said, a plan to catch out the National Commissioner. And the idea was that they wouldn't tell the National Commissioner about investigation. He would then be summoned to Parliament to account, and then he would lie, and then he would be caught out. And this plan was discussed at this very meeting where you attended. I don't know if you recall that plan.
I don't recall any discussion about such a plan.
All right.
You were in the meeting.
I'm not sure which on which date.
22 January.
It's the meeting of the 22 January. Yes, where the presentation was made.
I honestly don't recall that discussion about the setting up of the NASCOM.
And you'll see it happens just before there's a discussion about that IGI meeting that you were to facilitate.
I see that.
Mr. Soko, it is of sufficient gravity and importance that if you were at that meeting, I would expect you to remember. I don't think it's every day, unless you are telling us that you sat in meetings where every day this topic about setting up the National Commissioner came up. Then I would understand, well, it's one of many meetings and we can't pin you down to the 22nd of January. If it's a once-off discussion, it's of sufficient seriousness that I don't understand that you don't remember. If you were in that meeting and you've told us you participated in that meeting. You can comment if you want to.
Commissioners, I understand where the commissioner is coming from, but I honestly don't remember that conversation.
And if you read those blocks, you'll see that the IGI was to give an intelligence file. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. But if you don't recall, I can't take it any further.
Perhaps more accurately, if you say you don't recall,
yes, if you.
Then there's an important nuance there. Yes, Mrs.
No, I was talking about the NASCOM one. The IGI one, I did indicate that, yes, there was a request for me to arrange that meeting.
Yes.
Now, again, this doesn't look like it's sent to someone who is not in the know. This looks like it's sent to someone who is part of the team and part of what is being done.
It is correct that it looks like that way.
So, and can this commission take it as a fact that you were then involved?
Commissioners, these discussions did happen, and as you will see that I'm in the email.
Please, can you please answer the question directly? Is it so that you were involved?
Yeah, I will concede that I was involved.
Thank you.
So your earlier answer that you only became aware after the arrest, that was not correct, because this email says the arrests are still to happen and they are being planned.
Yes, I did not say I only became aware after the arrest. I said the takedown.
Isn't that the same thing?
Self on these matters since the meeting of the 22nd of January.
From all this, it appears that you were involved throughout.
That is correct, Chief.
Some emails were sent to you directly. On others, you were copied. And besides just emails being sent to you, some of these say there were requests for meetings. You yourself have said that you did attend meetings.
That is correct.
And then also and crucially, you have also accepted that you would attend to what I may loosely call logistical matters. You would personally pursue those, make requests to, let me say, people outside of IDEC, make requests, get information that was required for purposes of these investigations. So all of that paints a picture of you being fully involved. You accept that?
I accept it.
Yeah. Yes, Ms. Bowen.
Now this is where things become much bigger than simply who knew what and when. Because after that exchange, the Commission starts asking a far more uncomfortable question. What exactly was happening inside IDEC itself? Listen to this.
Mr. Soko, in the normal course, IDEC and NPA, they account to the Minister of Justice. Did you not find it odd that the ID is reporting back to the Minister of Police in relation to ongoing investigations where the Minister of Police is not the complainant? Because by the time you went to the meeting, you must have known that according to the presentation, Mr. Adams is the complainant. So did you not find it odd that you are now assisting the ID to report to the Minister of Police on matters that have nothing to do with him? And is that not interference in IDEC matters?
Well, Commissioners, it would seem like that. However, at the time, because I think she would have mentioned that there was a letter from the minister, then I think it was the context why she had to report to the minister. That's how I understood it.
Assuming there was a letter from the minister, do you not find it odd that the IDEC, is reporting to the Minister of Police on ongoing investigations when he's not the complainant? The complainant is Mr. Adams. So why does IDEC report to the Minister of Police on ongoing investigations?
Commissioners, in retrospect, I realized that maybe I should have raised that, but I did not raise it. And maybe it should not have been the case. And
you assisted. It's not a question of just you not raising it. It's a question of you saying, actually, let me assist you. Let me get you debt on Nkabinde to show the minister that he's not the person we should be reporting through.
My view, Commissioners, at the time was that based on the history that I know of Nkabinde, I was worried about that communication that goes through Mr. Nkabinde. So that is how I looked at it.
My issue is that your worry is misplaced. Your worry should have been, why are we reporting to the Minister of Police on ongoing IDEC investigations? Forget who his secretary or whose chief of staff is. We should not be reporting to the Minister of Police on ongoing investigations where he's not even the complainant. The complainant is Mr. Adams.
I take the point, Commissioner.
What you did is you opened a line of investigation in relation to Mr. Nkabinde, which you later complain about, and you say you subsequently learned that a 41.6 or a 28.13, I can't remember which is which, has been authorized in relation to the leak to Mr. Nkabinde.
I'm not sure I understand.
The investigation to find out what cases Mr. Nkabinde is involved in, and that report which you attached to your statement, you came up with that because you said you don't trust Mr. Nkabinde, he's dishonest. The ID then said to you, find information for me, which you then did and you submitted to her.
That is correct.
And as a result of that, somebody told Mr. Nkabinde, we don't know who, that IDEC is investigating him.
That is
the
correct.
domino effect of that is that the 41.6 in relation to one of your colleagues was then authorized, which you say is unlawful.
That is correct.
Yes. So you set it in motion.
Yes, in a way, it appears like that, yes.
Yeah, may I just also raise my concern about this, that you became complicit to an investigation into Nkabinde, because there is now an investigation, because you said what you did. But you participate in that investigation because you go and find information on something that you volunteered. You're the one that volunteers it. And then there's an investigation, but that investigation is not founded on anything in the act. The investigation, there's no complaint, there's nothing. But you're all happy to investigate Mr. Nkabinde on the back of what you have said, and you don't have a problem with that. You're the second in charge. You don't say, hang on, I was just sharing for purposes of communication. Because if that's all you were doing, as a rule, the one who holds the rules and who should be holding your people, your investigators, to your manual and to your rules, you in fact become complicit in an investigation into Mr. Nkabinde. And from where I'm sitting, it's no different from what Mr. Perumal has been doing, which is conducting investigations or participating in investigations that do not comply with your manual, that actually do not have a basis in your act. Because this which you are now investigating about Mr. Nkabinde, it doesn't arise from the act. It doesn't. And in that way, you put yourself in a position where you are no better than what, in fact, Ms. Johnson does on this. You're just as liable, or should be just as liable on this. If it's a point of criticism that an investigation was conducted on Mr. Nkabinde, it applies equally to you. Do you want to comment?
Yes, Commissioner. As I said earlier, that the issue of Mr. Nkabinde was part of the Blue Lights investigation. Now, at the time, as I've indicated, that the DPP that was responsible for matter had parked that issue. Now, the ID, when she instructed Mr. Bariati that she must look into the matter, in my own understanding, would have been the extension of that investigation on the Blue Lights. But as it turned out, because of what happened in relation to the allegations of the leak, my understanding is that even that issue was never taken up.
Can't be that you believed that it is an extension of that investigation. The DDPP has taken a position how he's going to handle that matter. This investigation arises on your words, and I think Ms. Ramsame's words. It is the ID says, find me debt on this person. It's not. It's in fact an investigation for ulterior purposes, not for the original purpose of the blue lights. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with he gave the minister the ID. Heebie-jeebies. I can't think of another word, sorry. Ms. Ramsameh said, that's what the ID said. I don't like this guy, he gave me the heebie-jeebies, and then you say, oh, don't actually send stuff to him because I don't trust him. And then she says, find me stuff about him. So that has nothing to do with your blue lights investigation, and you must accept that. It is because the ID is looking for something on him that will enable, according to her, warn the minister that you do not trust him. So, I'm sorry, the answer is not, your explanation now that, well, it was a resuscitation, it's not, that's not what happened here. Can we please accept that?
Commissioner, I would concede based on what you are saying to me now. But at the time, that's how I honestly looked at it.
Maybe let me ask you a last question. At this point, what was the nature of your relationship with the ID that hopefully provides an explanation of your posture when she's doing clearly things that are wrong, because it is wrong, this investigation. And that's not me saying there was no merit in the blue lights thing that you've decided to park against him. I'm talking about here what I say the motive had nothing to do with the blue lights, had with how she claims he made her feel, but also now she wants to warn the minister. For you not to say to the ID, no, that's wrong, we shouldn't be doing that, and you're the second in command at this point, your investigators report to you. What's the nature of your relationship at this point?
We've always had a good relationship with the ID. I cannot say that the relationship was strained or anything at that point in time.
So there's nothing that precluded you saying to her, maybe we shouldn't do this. This investigation now that we are starting, ours being helpful only for purpose of communication, but now that you're speaking about investigating him, I think it's wrong, it doesn't comply with our law, it's not anticipated in our mandate. Nothing stopped you saying that to her.
Nothing stopped me saying it, and I didn't say it.
And then the last one, in this commission, your investigators, Mr. Padiaki and Mr. Chief Perumal, have been accused of what on the face of it is serious misconduct that may well amount to fraud. The commission has not made findings one way or the other because we must hear all sides. But the allegations are that they created affidavits many months after, and then they backdated the affidavits to create the impression that those affidavits were deposed to on the 6th of January 2025 in relation to Mr. Adams's supplementary affidavits, and then in relation to the Section 27 affidavit. The allegation is that the affidavit that has been provided to the commission and the one that we as commissioners have been looking at was only created after October 2025, and it could not have existed in November 2024 when Mr. Adams made the referral to IDEC. Now you as head of operations and head of investigations, when you hear allegations like those, did you make inquiries internally to find out what the position is, and if the commission has been misled and has been provided fraudulent documents?
Chair, my recollection is I heard of these allegations when these matters were ventilated here at the Commission. I think Mr. Rapesu would have indicated that he suspects there is something wrong that would have happened with the Section 27. And if I remember his ways was, but the truth will come out. So, I remember speaking with Chief Perumal, if he knows anything about this, and then he says, no, there's nothing like that. Everything, it's on board. And I took his word for it.
Lastly, and it's a question Chair asked, because you are the head of investigations, is it common, is it usual within IDEC that an investigator can start an investigation and conclude the investigation without having seen the Section 27 referral? Because Mr. Padiaki told us that that's what happened in this case. He never saw the Section 27 referral.
Chair, in terms of our processes, and the manual also speaks to that, when a matter is authorized and the project manager convenes a project meeting with all stakeholders, including the DDPP, all information relating to that matter is shared and discussed within the team. It is an anomaly for those documents not to be shared within the team. It is clear that on this matter, there was exception to the rules.
Should it also have formed part of the application for a warrant of arrest, the Section 27 affidavit? So when IDEC applies for a warrant, should the Section 27 have been attached to the affidavit that was placed before the court? How does it work in practice?
In practice, the investigating officer will draft an affidavit, basically outlining the investigation conducted and the offenses that, that are alleged to have been committed.
Sorry to interrupt you. Because the starting point is the Section 27 referral, does he attach it to the affidavit when
no, in practice
he doesn't
it's not.
do that?
In practice, it's not.
But it forms part of the docket.
In practice, it's not.
So in practice, it does not form part of the docket. You don't even share it with the accused.
No, it is part of correspondence, internal correspondence, but it's not attached to the docket.
And when they ask for it because they want to challenge IDEC's jurisdiction or IDEC's mandate, how do you deal with that?
Well, when they ask for it, in my experience is that it has been provided when they had asked for it.
So, Mr. Sisoko, when a docket is opened or when an inquiry is opened, doesn't the Section 27 become the A1 statement? And then it can be supplemented if there's anything further to add to the affidavit. How does it work at the start of the investigation? Assume that the investigation has been authorized, either in terms of 28.1 or 28.13. and then a docket or an inquiry is opened, shouldn't the Section 27 affidavit be the A1 statement?
In practice, Chair and Commissioners, the Section 27 referral is treated differently. When an investigation starts, when it's authorized, then the complainant is approached for an A1 statement, and a full comprehensive A1 statement which would address all the elements of the offense is then obtained. And that is what is used as the A1, not the Section 27.
Where does one find that? Is that in the manual or is it your interpretation?
It's the practice.
But where does one find that? Where is it recorded that that's the practice?
I'm not sure if we record it like that in the manual. I must be honest. I'm not sure if we do that. I think the manual states the processes that must be followed, but it does not specifically say what happens in relation to Section 27 or an A1 statement, because it's more of an investigative operational issue that investigators do.
And the reason we are asking this is because Mr. Peter Serunia and Ms. Remsemi, they have testified in this commission that, and I hope I'm not confusing their evidence and the transcript will bear that out, but they said the Section 27 affidavit becomes the A1 statement, and then any further statement obtained from a witness supplements the Section 27. So the Section 27 is not an internal document. It is the genesis of the investigation. It is the affidavit that must set out what offense is being reported and what offense must be investigated, so that what the investigator looks at and what guides the investigating officer is in fact
need to be done to the organization. So we are going to have to grapple with how did IDAC land where it is today. Is it a structural problem? Is it that whoever employed Ms. Johnson just made a bad decision? Whoever employed Mr. Sissoko made a bad decision? You understand what I'm saying? What I'm asking you. Can you just comment to that?
Chair, the fact of the matter is, in this particular instance, rules were not followed. And I took a decision at that point in time, as I explained in my affidavit, based on my personal history. I take full responsibility that I should have acted differently. But at the time, for me, it was the right decision to take, given the considerations that I've said to the Commission.
I understand, and thank you for that answer. It's trying to understand whether, what's behind my question, whether in terms of your contract of employment, which sets out what your job is, you could have asserted to the ID, even if she didn't like it, you could have said, there is no investigation that will happen that I don't know anything about. Does your contract, the terms of your contract, give you that kind of standing, or it's a problem in the contract because maybe she still gets to make decisions finally about investigations? I'm trying to understand that. So I'm trying not to make it personal to you, but to understand what are the limitations other than your personal circumstances. Another head of investigations, will they not find themselves in exactly the same position for different reasons?
Chair and Commissioners.
Perhaps to add to that, besides the contract of employment itself, or in addition to rather, In addition to that contract, there are the annual performance, what do you call them, which you sign with your boss, undertaking that you are going to perform in accordance with, and then, as I understand it, there's itemization of all of everything that you undertake, you are going to do during that year. Am I correct that there is such a thing? What is it called?
That is correct. The performance agreement.
Yes. Now, I'm adding to what Commissioner Baloyi says, which is a reference to the employment contract itself, and I'm saying there's also this performance agreement. Would what you are required to do not also be, it would obviously be included in that, and would it cover what Commissioner Baloyi is raising, and if it would, what would you be assessed on if not on that? That is what it covers, which includes the issues that Commissioner Baloyi is raising. At the end of the year, how do you get assessed if you've not said, now if you do not allow me to do A, B, C, D, how am I going to be assessed at the end of the year? So basically that contract would require of you to raise the issues that Commissioner Baloyi is referring to. Now can you please respond, with all of that in mind, can you please respond to Commissioner Baloyi's question?
Thanks, Chair. My performance agreement provides that I must advise the ID. As I've indicated that these matters were discussed and should take a particular position. I understand the concerns, and in hindsight, maybe I should have taken this issue even further and not let it be as I did. But that's what, to me, at that point in time, seemed right to do. As I said, that maybe I should have acted differently by raising this issue at a higher level, so that what now has been ventilated here could have been stopped. I do, however, I am, however, not sure if it would have